For more on the January unemployment figures, we are now joined by Jeanne Branthover. She's the managing partner of Boyden Global Executive Search. Jeanne, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So 113,000 jobs added in January did not meet analyst expectations. We have some people blaming the weather. Now, I know you can blame a lot of things on the weather, but can you really blame a bad jobs report on the weather?
I don't think you can blame that the whole country had bad weather during January. I do think it did affect New York and some parts of the Midwest. So, I know just from Boyden Global Executive Search, what I do, people couldn't get to interviews. Clients couldn't, fly back to get an interview. So I do think it's, in some regard, it affected it, not totally.
So a lot of the focus today has been on how the jobs report for the month of January did not meet expectations. But I think we all need to remember here that the unemployment figure in the United States is now 6.6%, the lowest it's been in 5 years. Yeah, not bad at all.
Right.
What is your outlook for the jobs market for 2014?
In search, we're usually the first people to see bad and the first people to see good. We're incredibly busy. So our outlook, we meet with our CEOs, we strategize with them, what are they going to do? And what we're seeing is they're not just replacing, they're adding. They work their employees too hard, they know that they have to add staff, and they're going to. So our outlook is actually very positive. I know it started slow, but as of December, when we were meeting with our clients, they were really optimistic, believe they can generate revenue, and the only way they can do that is by adding people.
Jeanne, now, I want to ask you, when we look at sort of the breakdown of the industries, talk to me about the industries that are hiring the most or have been showing a lot of resilience over the last year.
Right. Well, first of all, technology and all parts of technology. So when you really think of it, e-commerce, digital media, social media, there's so much in technology that they haven't even figured out yet where it's going. So that continues to grow, and the need in every company, whether it be financial services, whether it be retail, everybody's looking for technology people. So technology firms, obviously, but also companies were looking for people in technology. The other area that has started to grow and continue to hire is financial services, which we hadn't seen in a long time, and areas of financial services that we hadn't seen. So we've continued to see wealth management grow in all aspects, but we're now seeing capital markets, investment banking, mergers and acquisitions growing again. Now, retail, even though the numbers, scared people in December and they thought it was, we're seeing that retail is hiring in various areas, and they predict that it's going to continue to hire. So we see professional services, we see technology, we see financial services, we see consumer products. We really see all sectors saying they're going to hire and doing it.
That's really interesting that you say that, investment banking and financial services, because as we remember during the financial crisis not too long ago, those are some of the hardest hit sectors. And overall, the U.S. economy lost around 8.7 million jobs. Have you been seeing a recovery since the financial crisis? Has it been a good recovery?
It's been a slow recovery, but it's a real recovery. And we're seeing a lot of things in the United States. We're seeing companies around the world saying it's the U.S. that is going to be the next place to have your business. So it was emerging markets, and now even though there's areas, Brazil and clearly Africa that are still growing, but there's a lot of areas that they've said, let's go into the United States. So we're seeing growth, and we're seeing optimism, and we see real commitment and investment from companies to hire.
Now, one of the things that's always a hot topic is the pay packets.
Oh, yeah.
You are obviously involved in facilitating the hiring of some of these big CEOs and CFOs and executives. What can you tell us about, their pay packages? Because we've seen a lot of crackdown on bonuses and regulations come into play that perhaps are trying to pull back on this. Is that what you're seeing as well in your experience?
What we're seeing in compensation, we're the ones that negotiate the salaries. So compensation is different. It's still big and it's still there, but how they're packaging the compensation is different. So what's basically different is you have a base salary. In a lot of cases, the base salaries went up because the bonuses are no longer guaranteed. So the bonuses really depends upon how well did the firm do, how well did you do, and it's very matrix oriented versus, okay, you did fine, we're going to give you money. And they learned for years that they shouldn't promise when they don't have cash. So the bonuses are only going to be there if the company does well.
So the base is higher, but the bonuses perhaps
Well, the bonus could be great, but it has a lot more metrics to it. So in other words, your firm has to produce and you have to produce to get that bonus. But then the one thing that's the biggest difference, and this is where the regulatory, everybody came in and said, you really have to try not to just pay out. So it's deferred comp. It's the piece that's deferred. So what they're really doing, and it's a smart thing to retain their talent, they're saying, okay, you're going to get this really big package, but a huge part of it is going to be paid out over time. So in 4 years from now, you may see this, but you're only going to see portions of it for the next couple of years. So what happens is companies are saying to their people, don't leave us because you need to have this money given to you. So it's about retention, and it's working.
Great. So the golden handcuffs, huh?
Right. And, you know, at the end of the day, other companies might buy it out, but companies are being very smart to not pay up front right away.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
That
you.
was Jeanne Branthover. She's the managing partner of Boyden Global Executive Search. Well